Steppin with Marcus J. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. 804-447-0601. We up in here wobbling. You should have seen your girl Tony. She was doing the dance right there. We was like, "Yo, get it, girl!" Yeah.
And then I told her the wobble came from is a thing like the electric slide stuff. She's like, "What, the electric slide?" I was like, "See, you like those kids who like rap now but don't like old school rap. You're terrible."
Wow, just tell her how you really think. Tell her how you really think.
Don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it because it's for women.
It is what it is. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Carlton Banks, why don't you get into the next subject for us, brother?
Well, we're going to start off our NFL segment by first saying our condolences to the Brent and the Brown family for an incident that took place. People, please, first and foremost, drunk driving is a problem. You don't need to do it. You shouldn't be doing it. For those who don't know, two Dallas Cowboy players, Josh Brent and I can't think of Brown's first name.
Jerry Brown,
thank you. We're in a car together. Brent was driving. Unfortunately, they had an accident. One of those two players lost their life. They were good friends. They knew each other in college. They were playing together on the same football team. You know, the NFL has programs for people who are drunk. You got taxi cabs. Use them, man. Please. Okay? I saw a report that said NFL players may start looking to get breathalyzers put into their car just so, to avoid situations like this. You never know what might happen. You should have learned your lesson, what was it, a season or 2 seasons ago when, I can't think of the dude's name, he was convicted of involuntary manslaughter where he was driving down the road and the man was drunk and fell into the car and he killed him that way. He didn't hit him, but he was having to be speeding. That was his ticket and he goes to jail for that. But come on, people, be smart about your situation. Be smart about your life. It's too short.
Yeah, it's a sad thing. Just when I woke up to the news, the first thing I thought about was, wow, 2 weeks and 2 NFL tragedies, and both of them, but certainly this one could have absolutely been avoided. Big Rube, you got words?
Man, if you rich enough to drive an Escalade, you rich enough to get a limo to take you from wherever you're going to your house. It's inexcusable that he was driving a vehicle knowing full well he was going out and get drunk. It's called a taxi cab, like Carlton Banks said. But I mean, you paid. Get yourself something to take you home, and then go back and get your car the next day. It sucks and it's inexcusable.
Tony?
I totally agree. Even with, you look at the Lindsay Lohans and the little girl from Nickelodeon, getting DUIs, and there's no reason for that. We as average normal people, can call a friend, to pick us up when we've been drinking too much. And it's really, really sad and tragic when, it's just a phone call away, call a cab or hop in your limo and, ride home safely.
Right. And I don't want to dump on the Cowboys, but it's certainly not what our intentions are by having that story. And there's another story that came out about the Cowboys that's not on the football field. They had a big win yesterday. We definitely want to take time, give Carlton Banks his due time to highlight their win yesterday. Big victory against Cincinnati, emotional victory against Cincinnati. But it's just been a rough weekend because now you had almost a near brawl that erupts between a player and Jerry Jones. You got Jay Ratliff, former Pro Bowl nose tackle who missed 7 games, got into what was described as a volcanic face-to-face exchange with Jerry Jones in the locker room. A source told CBS that people had to intervene to separate Jay Ratliff and the 70-year-old Jerry Jones. The source told CBS, quote, "They're passionate, great men, and they both want to win. That's it." And it's ironic because Jay Ratliff's replacement was Josh Brent. Of course, is in jail on the intoxicated manslaughter charge.
Actually, he's out
in the death. Well, he had gotten out.
Bail.
He was out on bail in the death of the teammate Jerry Brown, who we also know is his best friend. So, Big Room, I'm gonna start with you on this one. We got Jerry Jones getting into a confrontation, verbal, almost physical confrontation with a player. What you got?
I think Jerry Jones is an idiot. I mean, let's just be honest. Just because you own the team and I guess he thinks he quote unquote owns them, that does not give you the right to go down to the locker room and start a brawl. I mean, if you got issues, then you handling like men, and you be like, yo, you need to come to my office. We need to talk. With a third party there, so Jerry Jones don't do something stupid and get sued and lose half his money.
I look at it like this. Jerry went in there not knowing what was going through that man's mind. He knows that his replacement is in jail. They lost a friend. You can't come up to somebody saying, we need you, and I'm hurt, can't play, can't give you 100% when you're in an emotional situation like that. I mean, that's not fair to the player, much less for Jerry to come out of his mouth like that. I mean, really, dude, you got to think about it. You're not – the owner comes to the locker room at the end of the game. I mean, if you're going to come in there at the beginning of the game, don't come in there to get on somebody's case. Get in there to motivate your team, to show support for what happened that could bring them, that brought them down to begin with. That's what your coach, owner should be doing at this point.
Well, the only thing that I'll say to you guys is points, while they're, the points are well taken. We don't know what happened in the confrontations. We don't know if Jay Ratliff kind of came at Jerry the wrong way. I mean, what we know about Jerry, we're assuming that he was the instigator in this, but everybody's got emotions that are running high. You just lost a teammate. Basically, you lost two. One lost his life. One, in a lot of other ways, lost his life as well. So there's a lot of high emotion going on. We don't know what happened, but Jerry Jones, being the fiery type of guy that he is definitely something that was worth speaking of. The only other guy that I could think of that, this kind of thing could have been, in the news was what we used to see with George Steinbrenner with the Yankees back in the 70s and 80s. He mellowed out by the time the 90s came along, but, he fired Billy Martin 5 times, which means he rehired him 4 times. And what most people don't know was when Billy died on Christmas of 1989 in a drunk driving accident, George was in the process of rehiring him for his 6th term as manager of the New York Yankees. So, there is certainly precedent for this, but I want to go ahead and move away from the sadness and kind of talk about what's going on the football field. And so we can definitely talk a little bit about what went on in the field. And since we're in Dallas, let's keep it there. Carlton Banks, you guys got an emotional win against the Bengals in Cincinnati. So it's on you, man. Go.
For the longest time, you didn't know what was going to happen with that team. Again, we talked about the depth of the situation, the loss of the teammate. And you see the team really develop and come together at the moment of when they needed. I mean, Cincinnati was just running up and down the field on them at some points. And then, there was some gut check times, and people really stepped up. Brandon Carr had a key interception that really should have put Cincinnati up, probably 13 points. But he got the ball. We had a decent running game for a little while, but then we went away from it. Tony Romo had 40-some attempts. He connected, I think, on like 29 of those. For the number of attempts, he didn't have the yards to go with it. 25 for 43 for 268. Yeah, see, that wasn't there. The interception was at the end of the half. It's not one, some interceptions shouldn't count against it. It just happened. And that was an interception that took place at the end of the game. End of the half that, changed the field position, and Cincinnati got the ball, and they just ran the clock out to end the half. It was a very tough game for both sides. Not to take anything away from the Bengals, because both teams were in the playoff hunt. Bengals being a game or 2 games up on Pittsburgh at the time, and now Pittsburgh is trying to get back, and they need a lot of help because they just saw the Ravens and the Bengals lose. They're trying to get back in it. Cleveland, on the other hand, can't get anywhere near them, but they did win, so they're no threat to the AFC East. But it's a good game. It was a good game. It was very emotional. Now, this game this weekend coming up between the Cowboys and Pittsburgh. Woohoo!
Yeah, he's ready for that. At Steppin Marcus J. I didn't watch this game. Big Ruben and I watched games together yesterday. We didn't watch it. We watched the first half on the split screen. And we, obviously neither one of us were rooting for the Cowboys, but, to see them come back at the end and to hold the Bengals to 6 points in the second half and to score 10 themselves to get the 1-point victory, it's impressive. They show a lot of heart. It was very reminiscent of what the Chiefs did a week ago, pulling out a big victory on the road after having lost a teammate. So, I typically don't have any positive things to say about the Cowboys, but just this isn't the week really for it, as far as I'm concerned. It was just tough. Now, from what I understand, Carlton, we got some injury news in your receiving core. What's going on with Dez Bryant?
Dez Bryant has a sprained finger, I believe, on the left hand. He played through it for the majority of the game. We don't know exactly when it happened. From what I'm understanding, it took place in the first half. But this injury could be season-ending surgery, which would hurt the Cowboys terribly. I mean, we've lost key players on the defensive side. Fox showed a diagram of where we lost defensive players. We lost everybody in the middle. If we run a 3-4, we lost a nose tackle, we lost 2 middle linebackers, and a strong safety. Dude, we lose people on the offense. Dez has been key last few weeks. He's had upwards of 9 touchdowns this season. He's got 525 yards over the last 4 games. He's been a beast. I mean, we cannot afford to lose him. Miles Austin, you don't know if his hip or his hamstring is going to affect him. And the backup receivers, dude, we haven't seen Kevin Elbetry since he showed up against the Giants in the first game of the season
Week 1,
and torched the hell out of them. Yeah. So, we need Dez to do his best to play through it, tape his damn finger up. I don't know.
When you talk about injuries, it was a pretty big scare and a big victory that the Washington Redskins got yesterday against the local rival Baltimore Ravens. Big Road, what you got?
First of all, I'd like to go on record as saying, back after the draft, people were just like, why we pick Kirk Cousins? We pick Kirk Cousins for things like this. It's that simple. When you have a running quarterback, a mobile quarterback, you have to have a good backup. And let's be real, we don't want interception machine Grossman back there as his backup. It was an excellent pick, and it proved why we picked him. Now, as far as the game goes, great comeback from the Redskins. We were down big. We didn't care. We came back. Old boy got hurt. It looked worse than it is. It's a L1 strain. Right now, they say he should be able to play. My personal opinion.
Sprain.
Yeah, sorry. My personal opinion, you start Kirk Cousins and you have him as a second. Why? Because let's be real. 1, we're playing Cleveland. 2, we're in Cleveland. We may need him, but I don't want to put him out there unless we absolutely positively have to. And you know what? To make it all worthwhile, we just won't name a starter until Sunday.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Right.
So, other than that, Kirk Cousins came through. How they left Pierre Garçon wide open, I don't understand. The number 1 receiver for Redskins, you just leave wide open. Thanks. Appreciate the gift. And then, of course, Kirk Cousins did his RG3 rendition and ran the ball to quarterback sneak. Beautiful. And then, as the defense stopped up scrubs at halftime, in overtime, another rookie, Crawford, ran a punt back, ran out of gas, got caught by the kicker. So what? Kai Forbath hit another field goal, win the game. Guess what, people? 14-14. We got a field goal kicker. Hence why we have a 4-game winning streak and why the Redskins have been a much better team. Honestly, you could say it's RG3. Honestly, you could say it's Alfred Morris. Real talk, it's Kai Forbath right now who's the MVP because the dude is nasty from above 40. 14 field goals, 11 of them are from 40 or better. He hasn't missed anything. Actually, I think he missed an extra point. So what? Who cares? We won that game too. So, next week we got Cleveland. Cleveland's tough. Cleveland's playing for a lot of pride. We're going to be in Cleveland. My opinion, we start Kirk Cousins. We make RG3 the second because when it's all said and done, it's about the playoffs.
Let me ask you this. You keep harping on Kirk Cousins. Are you saying that no backup quarterback is caliber enough to play? Has no caliber to play?
No, I'm saying that the one we had sucks.
Okay.
The one we had is terrible.
But there's nobody on the market that you could have gotten that could have just plugged in.
Why are we going to pay?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, why are we going to pay a veteran $1.5 million when we pay Kirk Cousins, what, $800,000? And he performs either just as good or better? Kirk Cousins is a 4-year starter for Michigan State. He's intelligent. They call him the scientist. Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. He will be a great NFL quarterback. What's probably going to end up happening either next year or the year after that, we're going to turn that into a first-round pick. Guaranteed. Kirk Cousins is a future NFL quarterback.
If RG can last that long.
Hence why we got backup. See, well, Mike. So who's the backup in Atlanta for Mike Vick?
Sharp.
Matty Ice.
No, it was Matt Sharp.
Was it Matt Sharp?
It was Matt Sharp. And how did Matt Sharp get big? Because he got hurt, and Matt Sharp came in, played his way to the starting, and then he went to Houston, which he is now a beast.
Okay, you can say the same thing about Kevin Cobb.
You can also say the same thing about.
You can say the thing about Kevin Cobb.
Yeah, but what about the kid that was in New England and went to Kansas City and stunk up the gym? What's his name? Castle.
But you know the difference between those people is the backup of a running quarterback, of a mobile quarterback. Is a pretty much a pocket passer. That's the difference. All those when you get a running quarterback, you get a pocket passer as a back. Because one, if he comes in the game, you have to completely change your defense. You work so hard to prepare for the running quarterback. Now you throw a pocket passer in there, you don't know what to do. Ask Baltimore. Pierre got left wide open for a touchdown. They had no idea what was going on.
Dude, that was just the scheme of the play. It doesn't matter.
It's a scheme of the play, but who covered Pierre Garçon?
Dude, he was covered. He just found a hole in the zone. They ran zone.
Marcus J. If
you notice the defense, there was a corner in the flats, and there was a safety over the top. He found a hole in the zone.
And you know where the safety over the top was? Like 5 yards that way, over to his left.
Again, he found a hole in the zone.
So basically, for any zone play, I just want to make sure we understand
holes
this.
In
Hold on, correct. So you're going to leave the number one wide receiver open. You're not going to notice he's in the zone?
Dude, do you watch football defense?
I watch football now.
Okay, their number one receiver always gets open in some form or fashion. What?
Really?
What? Yes. He gets open in some form or fashion.
In a zone? In a Baltimore zone?
In anybody's zone.
With every back there safety, he got wide open.
Anybody's zone.
I'm going to have to disagree on that.
We'll have to leave it there. Agree to disagree. We're going to finish up the NFL segment with the New York Football Giants. Obviously, that's my team. Big victory that we got against the New Orleans Saints. The Who Dats. It was ironic. Two teams yesterday scored over 50 points, with the Seattle Seahawks with the absolute embarrassment over the Arizona Cardinals, scoring 58 points, 58-0. Of course, we're not going to talk much about that. I just wanted to get that out there. The New York Football Giants scored 50 points for the first time since a 55-24 victory against the Green Bay Packers back on December 20th, 1986. Big Rube and I watched the game together. Big Rube got on my damn nerves for the entire 3 hours of this game because he was showing mixed emotions. Let me explain to you what I mean by the mixed emotions. First of all, the Giants, Eli Manning, 4 touchdowns. The thing is, Big Rube right now has got his arms raised up in exaltation at the 4 touchdowns of Eli Manning, not because he was rooting for the Giants, but because he was rooting for the Giants quarterback in his fantasy. He's sitting there on my couch at the J House, right? And he's rooting against the Giants openly for running plays. But every time Eli Manning threw the football, here go your man Big Rube.
Beautiful.
Yes. It's beautiful. This is the epitome of why I think those of you who are into fantasy, y'all out y'all damn minds, really. Because it makes you confused. It absolutely makes you confused. You root against your enemy. You are rooting for your enemy. What the hell is that about? I don't get it. But you know what? I guess it's not for me to get. No, I don't gamble, but I play the lottery. I guess it's kind of the same thing. But David Wilson yesterday, 13 carries for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. But what was really impressive with the 227 yards that he had in kick returns, one, of course, being for a touchdown. Giants, of course, may have a new weapon in the backfield, which is going to be helpful since their other running back is on IR. And, of course, Ahmad Bradshaw got injured again for them. So we only got one healthy running back, and that happens to be the rookie. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Drew Brees, of course, shut out. No touchdowns yesterday, which was odd to me because, he had gone, how many weeks? Well, actually, he had 1 touchdown, so let me take that back. But he had gone week after week after week. It was like 50-something games in a row that he had a touchdown, and then I think he had that streak snapped about a week ago, and then I think he got a touchdown towards the end of the third quarter yesterday, which is the one I guess that he does get. But Giants look good. We don't match up well against the Saints prior to yesterday. They usually beat us pretty handily, and yesterday 52-27. I'm feeling pretty good about that. We hold a 1-game lead in the division against the Cowboys and the Washington Redskins, who also won yesterday, as well as the Eagles, which don't matter, but all 4 teams won, which is ironic, Ruben, because had the Giants lost the game, we went from being in first place to third place, because all 3 teams would have had the exact same record, but the Redskins would have been in first place, followed by the Cowboys, with the Giants being in third place because of division records. So, we go into the game knowing what happens in the other 2 games, and I guess that might have had something to do with the reason why they came out inspired. Giants can't seem to play good football unless they got their backs against the wall, so that's very interesting. Last thing I want to get into, aside from the Pittsburgh Steelers getting that ass kicked by the San Diego Chargers, Miss Tony, I'm not going to give you much love on that. That's for Tony and for Grizzy, the Steelers fans, and the crew. But last thing I want to get into, and we're not even getting into it, I'm just going to say this real quick, and I want a real quick comment from Carlton as well as Ruben on this. Brandon Jacobs got suspended for the rest of the season out there in San Francisco because he is tweeting that he's rotting on the bench in San Francisco. He ain't getting no burn, and he ain't happy about it. Real quick, Carlton Banks, thoughts on Brandon Jacobs?
Dude, you're behind Frank Gore and Kendall Hunter. Where do you think you can get in the game at? I mean, honestly.
He started
granted, he came out there to be Brandon Jacobs' backup, but Kendall Hunter's out playing your ass. I mean, what do you want to say?
Actually, he's behind Michael James because Kendall Hunter's hurt.
Well,
I don't watch San Fran enough. Good, thank you.
And as far as I'm concerned, who cares? Who is he again?
Well, that's the point. Brandon Jacobs, I was getting into this debate with my man JR down in the ATL. JR is a good friend of mine, not his real name, but JR down in the ATL, who was defending somewhat, saying that, maybe he should get a shot somewhere else. And the point I was making is, certain kinds of players just don't seem to fit in with the Giants, and they usually go somewhere else and flame out there as well. And for those people who think I'm tripping, I give you Tiki Barber, who retired, and, you see his name is Mud. Jeremy Shockey never really did anything of note after he ended up leaving. Plaxico Burress is well documented, and of course Brandon Jacobs.
Didn't Shockey help them win a title?
He got them there.
He was on the team, but he was on IR. He didn't play the last 4 or 5 games. He didn't play in the postseason at all. So
I thought he did.
He did not.
He got a ring.
He got a ring, and I'm thinking, yeah. So I don't. Yeah, Shockey, Plaxico.
Manningham's doing okay in San Francisco.
Yeah, but Manningham wasn't a head case. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is the malcontents that don't seem to fit in well with our team usually show their ass when they go somewhere else. Ain't no Steppin, Marcus J. We're going to leave it there. We're going to take our break, and when we come back, we got Miss Andrea Carter of Jersey City, New Jersey. Is going to talk to us about a stage play that she's directing and producing. Looking forward to that conversation. And then What the Hell? And we also got a missing and/or exploited child. We got a live entertainment, socially conscious hour coming up for you. Marcus J. and Ohio Steppin. Be back in a minute.
Hi, fam. This is Renee, NYC Lady Z, the Supreme Ladies Motorcycle Club in Richmond, Virginia. And I love Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Check it out on globalscaleradio.net. Enjoy.
It's electric.